Chef Buck here, and today we're gonna cook up a complete Indian dinner. I'm gonna cook 3 dishes. I'm gonna do a Chana masala. I'm gonna do a Gobi matar, which is cauliflower and peas. And then we're also going to do a dish that I've never done before.
Mango curry.
Mango curry.
Inspired by?
We just saw it on BaubleRob's channel. You know, and BaubleRob, he is a ninja in the kitchen. He's like a, I don't know, a 5th-degree black belt. He doesn't even have to see. He puts a blindfold on and cooks in the kitchen. But I'm only a yellow belt, so I will be using my eyes for this particular dish. But we've never made it, but it looks kind of interesting. So the first thing I'm gonna do is heat up a skillet on medium-high heat, and we're gonna go ahead and cook up our Chana masala. While my skillet's heating up, I'm going to throw in maybe 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm going to throw in some whole seeds. These are cumin seeds. They add a great flavor, and I'm going to use a tablespoon, which is a lot, but that's okay. And see, the moment they get in there, you know, they're going to start cooking up. And you don't want them to go for too long because they will burn. Just give them a second on their own. And I'm also going to throw in some asafoetida right now. Now this stuff here is optional. You don't have to use it. It just adds an interesting little bit of flavor. Like I said, stinks, you know. But we're just going to use a smidgen for the size of this dish. But the thing is, once you throw it in the oil and it starts cooking, the flavor of it transforms. So as much as it stinks, it doesn't stink for too long. Now I'm going to throw in some garlic. Boom, I got a bunch of garlic chopped up here because I'm going to use it in some different dishes. But I'm going to throw in, probably going to end up being like 5 or 6 cloves there. Because I had a whole bulb chopped up. So let's go ahead and give this here a minute by itself. Not even that long probably. I'm going to stir it around, get some colors, get these flavors going. Boom, boom, boom. And a lot of Indian dishes start like this. A lot of Indian dishes start with you flavoring your seeds, or cooking up your seeds, and cooking up your garlic a little bit. Now this is something that's also optional. And I'm going to use this in the mango curry, but I'm going to throw a little bit of this in here too, which is besan and chickpea flour. Not too much. But we'll start to cook this up, and that'll help thicken the dish up later and act almost like a gravy. You know, when you mix your oil and your flour like this, you know, it's called making a roux. My seeds are really starting to darken there. So I'm going to go ahead and cool things down a little bit by throwing some chopped onion in here. And I got a lot of onion chopped up. I went ahead and prepped a lot of these ingredients so I don't have a lot of downtime. Alrighty. So we'll let this go and soften up a little bit. And while that's going for a few minutes, I'm going to grab my other pot. And this is what we're going to be making our mango curry in. Because BaubleRob recommended we have a big pot. Alrighty, so that's starting to soften up there. So we're going to go ahead and throw in some spices. Put a teaspoon of cumin powder in there. Getting low on coriander powder. Boom. And like I said, I'll have all these ingredients listed, but I'll also have some links down below if you want to go and check these ingredients out. And then we'll throw in a little turmeric too. Boom. Maybe do a teaspoon of that as well. Now I haven't thrown any heat in here yet, so I guess I should. There's different things you could do for heat. You could throw in some red pepper flakes. You could throw in a little bit of chili garlic sauce if you want. I'm going to go ahead and toss in jalapeno. I've got this already diced up. I've taken out the seeds and a lot of the inside white membrane, so it's not going to be as hot as it might otherwise. So we'll stir this around for a few minutes, not even for that long. And I got stuff that's starting to stick to the bottom of my pan a little bit, but that's okay because we're going to putting some liquid in here. That's going to take it off. And one of the benefits of putting your flour in and putting your spices in at this point is that they'll roast up a little bit and they'll toast a little bit in the skillet, and that adds a little bit of extra flavor. Alrighty, what else? Let me throw in a little bit of black pepper. Why not? Just for the heck of it. And now I'm going to toss in 1 can of diced tomatoes. And since we're making a double order, I'm going to throw in another can, because this is going to end up being a lot. But I'm making some to have left over as well. Seeing that stuff that was stuck on the bottom comes right up. And get all these flavors mixed in. Smells fantastico. So I've raised the temperature a little bit so that this tomato concoction will come to a boil. I'm going to go ahead and add a can of water as well, because we're going to want liquid in here because we're going to be adding chickpeas, and we're going to want those chickpeas to simmer away and soften up a little bit. So we want to make sure we have plenty of fluid in here. So I got about 1.5 cans, and I've got it on a high temperature right now so we can bring it up to a bubble. Now I'm going to throw some salt in here, and salt is to taste, peppers to taste, all that stuff is to taste. And you can always go back and add more if you want. So don't go too crazy on it early on. Alrighty, so while that's going, while that's coming up to a bubble, we're going to get started on the mango curry. So I'm putting this here on medium-high, a nice big pot. And I'm going to go ahead and throw my oil in here. I'm using an extra light olive oil. Boom. Well, let's see. The stuff is coming up to a bubble. Smells delicioso. Alrighty, I got 2 cans of chickpeas. These are already rinsed and drained. Just a couple of 15-ounce cans, regular old chickpeas. We're going to go ahead and toss this in here now. Get it stirred in. I see it's quite wet right now, but we're going to let this bubble away probably for about 10 or 15 minutes until it gets to a consistency that we like. But for right now, I'm going to leave this alone. So we'll concentrate on this dish right here. My oil seems like it's heated up. So let's see. We're going to go ahead and start this dish off the same way we started the other one, with a little bit of cumin seeds. I'm going to throw in, boom, what is that, probably a little bit less than a tablespoon. And now I'm going to throw in a little bit of asafoetida with this as well. Just a wee little bit, if I can figure out where I put it. And I've had this asafoetida, this thing used to be full. You know, I bought it in a different container, but I put it in this container with a screw cap. Because man, you don't want this odor getting out. We're just going to put a wee little bit. Again, just like in the other thing, this is literally less than 1/4 teaspoon. And we'll get in here in this oil, and even though it smells to high heaven, it will transform into something else. Alrighty, I'm going to lower my temperature on my Chana Masala here because it's starting to get a little bubbly, and I want it to simmer. Put it at a good simmer, and then leave it alone. Peas are going here. Now I'm going to throw in a little bit of curry leaves. Now I'm using fresh curry leaves, and I probably got about 1/4 cup of fresh curry leaves, and I went ahead and minced them up nice and fine because they're like bay leaves. You know, I'm using fresh ones, but they're kind of, you don't want a whole leaf in there to fool with, or I don't. You know, they add a great flavor, but we're going to go ahead and mince them up so that we'll get that flavor, but then we'll be able to eat it later. You know, without choking to death on curry leaves. And we'll give this a few moments. Let it cook up with, wow, that smells super fantastic though. I'm going to go ahead and throw some ginger in there because we're going to have quite a little bit of ginger in this dish. I'm going to add some more later to it. That's probably a tablespoon and a half or almost 2 tablespoons of ginger. Mix it with the oil. We'll let it go. Now while this is cooking a little bit, we can go ahead and get our mango stuff prepared. I've already peeled these mangoes. We're using very ripe mangoes. We went to the Asian market and got some super duper ripe juicy mangoes, which is what you want to use for this dish. Because you want them to have a lot of juice. You know, this is all theoretical for me because I've never made mango curry before. But I'm very excited to try it because it just sounds good and it looks good, although I don't cook with a lot of fruit. Usually if I'm cooking something with fruit, it's a dessert, not an entree. So we put 4 mangoes I got in here. You know, these are super duper soft mangoes. You know, you can kind of crush them up a little bit. And, you know, BaubleRob peeled them with his hand and put them in there. And I tried it, but it was just, you know, I don't have those kind of mad skills. You know, it's just a super duper mess. Excuse me, camera girl. I'm going to grab some yogurt out of here. So we're going to put a little bit of yogurt. I don't know how much yogurt we want to put in here. Maybe we'll put in a little less than a cup. Stir this around so we've got 4 mangoes and we've got them smashed up pretty well. We didn't puree them. You know, I just did this with a spatula, so there's some nice big chunks in there. But it's also going to cook for a while. So I'm not really worried about it. Boom, 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 and I'm taking my dirty yogurt spoon and stirring my Chana masala. That's alright. It doesn't matter. Still got my stuff bubbling away here. It may have been bubbling away for too long, but that's alright. I'm going to go ahead and throw a little bit of chickpea flour in here as well. While I got this oil frying. That way it'll toast up this flour a little bit. And let's see, 2 tablespoons, maybe a little bit more than that. We'll see how that goes. And again, we got the oil and we got the flour in here, so we're kind of making a roux. Although this isn't going to be enough to thicken up this mango stuff too much. Because there's so much mango. This is going to be a pretty big dish of mango curry. But man, those curry leaves and that ginger just smells awesome. And you could put garlic in here if you wanted. Why not? But the thing is, I don't want all my dishes to taste the same. So I'm going ginger heavy over here and garlic heavy over here. That way the dishes have a different flavor, a different texture. So it's going to be a nice Indian meal that's not going to be, you know, taste all the same. Even though we're using a lot of similar ingredients. Alrighty, I think that's gone for long enough there. Alrighty, so I've got this stuff ready to go in my pot here. Boom. There you have it. All of that mango. Alrighty. Kind of looks delicioso. I'm going to stir this around, get those curry leaves, get that ginger, get all that stuff we got in there mixed up with this mango yogurt. Got my Chana masala bubbling away. Got this bubbling away. Let's see, I'm going to turn on a different burner. I'm going to put this on the rear heat as soon as the heat gets going. Because this is going a lot faster than I thought it was. I'm the king of multitasking, but we're going to get going on one more dish here. Because this kind of has the same consistency. You know, because I'm going to mash this up a little bit. You know, this here is going to be pretty soupy. So I want to have something that has a different texture, you know, to round out our meal. Now this here we can eat by itself. This here we're going to serve over top of rice, you know, so that it adds a nice texture. But I want something that's has a different texture and different flavor, and that's why we're making the Gobi matar. But my back burner should be on and high, so I'm going to set this back here, and I'm going to do something else. I kind of want to use a bigger skillet, but I don't have room. Alright, so we got our mango curry back here on the back burner. It's bubbling. I want to put it on low, kind of a low simmer. And I'm going to cover it up and let it bubble away for a little bit. Boom, we're going to let that cook for about 10 or 15 minutes. Now my Chana masala, how long has this stuff been going? I don't know, we'll be able to look at the video and see. But we're starting to evaporate some of this liquid, and these flavors are starting to cook together, and those chickpeas are softening up. Now I'm going to go ahead and heat this little skillet in the front, and we're going to throw in, boom, you guessed it, some olive oil. And I'm going to be making a cauliflower and pea dish. Now I've got some fresh cauliflower here. I've already got it cut up into florets. And I got just one small can of green peas. Boom. Just a little rinky dink. Now I'm not a fan of peas, but it goes well with this dish here because it's going to add a nice little bit of color as well as flavor. Kind of to offset, because you know when you're cooking with cauliflower, you know you want to make sure and have some colorful, interesting things in there so it doesn't look so boring and bland. Alrighty. Oil is starting to heat up here. Now I used cumin seeds in both of these dishes, and I'm going to add seeds to this, but I don't want to just throw cumin seeds in here and make it taste the same as these, so I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to throw in some fennel seeds. You know. Now normally I'm going to have a link posted to this recipe that I have online, and in that recipe I use cumin seeds. But it's going to taste just as good with fennel seeds. It's going to taste a little bit different. But you know, you can be very flexible with these dishes. So we got our fennel seeds in there, and I'm going to throw in some mustard seeds as well. Boom. Probably about a teaspoon. We'll let that go for a few minutes and let those start bubbling away. Come on over here to this Chana masala. How long has this been going, do you think?
Maybe 15 minutes.
Maybe 15 minutes? That sounds about right. I'm going to go ahead and start smashing those up a little bit, because we want it to be a little bit mushy. You know, I want it to have a kind of a creamier texture. So I'm just going to take a potato masher here, and I'm just going to go through and I'm going to smash up some of these chickpeas. You know, and you don't have to be militant about it, you know, because I don't want to smash everything up. You know, I don't want it to be soupy. I want it to have a nice texture. But I want to add this creaminess, and a simple way to do that is letting these chickpeas cook for a few minutes, you know, 10 or 15 minutes, and then going through. And you know, I used to do this with the bottom of a cup, with a glass cup, which really probably wasn't the safest way to do it. But you know, I've always been a risk taker and a hard breaker. So we're going to give it a good stir. Boom. And I'm going to go ahead and reduce the heat down on this a little bit more. And let it continue to cook away. And this is a great dish to start off if you're making an Indian meal, because you can't overcook it. You know, so you get it going and then you can just kind of leave it alone. Stir my seeds up a little bit. How's that looking, camera girl? Looks muy fantastico. Let's see. Let me give it a stir. So it's bubbling away in there. It's looking very creamy, looking very delicioso. I don't know if I've forgotten anything in here yet.
Maybe a little salt.
Oh, a little salt? Yeah, we can do that in a little bit. What else? This is the first time I'm making it, so I'm trying to remember BaubleRob's thingamabob. I got a few more things I got to add in here in a little bit, but we're just going to let this go ahead and continue simmering away. I got it on medium-low now. I've got this reduced down to medium-low. We got our seeds cooking up a little bit here. And now I'm going to go ahead and throw in just a wee little bit of crushed red pepper. Just for some heat, but not a lot. Boom. I'm going to throw in the rest of my garlic. Because I got all this garlic that's left. You know, what else am I going to do with it? Might as well throw it in here. So we're going to stir our seeds and our garlic up. And then I'm going to add a little bit of bell pepper. Now you don't have to do this. Like I said, you can add whatever you like. But since this is cauliflower, you know, I want to add something that has a little bit of color to it.
And flavor.
Boom. Yeah, and flavor. But this is already going to have a lot of flavor. You know, so my main reasoning behind putting this in here is for the color. You know, I almost started to get a red pepper. Then I thought I don't want to do that because I'm going to put a little bit of tomato in here. And then that way it'll differentiate itself. Give that a few minutes to let that soften up. Our Chana masala stir, our mango curry is looking really good. It's looking really thick. I think BaubleRob added some water in there. So I'm going to go ahead and add a can of water. Maybe not quite a can, maybe half a can. So maybe about 8 ounces of water. Give that a stir. Boom, and we'll go ahead and cover it up. Let it continue going. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and throw some seasoning in here. I'm going to throw in a little bit of turmeric. This turmeric's always a good idea with Indian cooking. In fact, it's essential for a lot of dishes. I'll throw in maybe a half a teaspoon of coriander powder. I think that's going to be plenty good for that right there. Alright, stir it up with the spices. How does this kitchen smell? Camera girl, you're making me nervous. You're being so quiet today.
What?
Alrighty, I'm going to turn this down to super low. Because I've already cooked off a lot of the moisture there. It's getting near the end with the Chana masala. So now that we are near the end, I'm going to throw a little bit of garam masala in there. And this is just it's like cloves, nutmeg, cinnamon. It's sort of a sweet spice. We're going to toss a little bit of this in here, and it's almost a finishing spice. So we'll stir this around. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. And just stir it around in its own little heat. And this dish is kind of done. Now you can use fresh tomatoes if you want with this. And actually I meant to get fresh tomatoes for this, but I forgot it. So we're going to do it without. We're going to do the old standby canned tomatoes. And I actually prefer using canned tomatoes for a lot of Indian dishes. Because canned tomatoes have a great flavor. You know, I'm usually disappointed. You know, if you get big tomatoes at a grocery store nowadays, you know, they're almost always very bland. And with Indian cooking, you're cooking your tomatoes down a lot. So canned tomatoes are kind of perfect, and it's a lot less hassle as well. So I'm going to raise the temperature and get this bubbling right here. Well, let's check on our curry. Look at that bubbling away. Looks fantastic, though. Hope I didn't put too much water in there, but we're going to serve this over rice. Boom. Alrighty. Get that going up. Now I'm going to throw, this is a small head of cauliflower that I've got cut up into florets here. So I'm going to go ahead and toss this in here and get that stirred around. And I'm sort of testing the limits of this pot. That's all right. I'm going to add a little bit of water to this too, because I'm going to want this to simmer for a little bit and soften up this cauliflower. But I'm not going to cook it for too long, because the reason I'm doing this last is I want to spend the least amount of time cooking this dish, because I don't want it overcooked, because I want my cauliflower to have a little bit of crunch. So we'll go ahead and get this mixed up, get these flavors fused throughout these florets, and then we're going to cover it up and let it simmer away for a little bit. We're almost going to steam some of this cauliflower. So I got the heat turned up. I got it mixed in there with the seasonings. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, so it's cooking with some salt. Now I didn't put any salt in the mango curry, and we're going to test that in a little bit. Give it a taste test and see if we want to. But I'm thinking maybe we won't. We'll just have to see how that goes. I got my salt stirred up there. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see if this lid fits. Boom, and we'll let that simmer away. Now my Chana masala, the heat's been off, and I'm going to add a little bit of color to this dish. I'm going to add a little bit of color to all these dishes, but I'm going to finish this off with a little bit of cilantro chopped up. Again, it's optional, but a cilantro gets a great flavor and it adds a nice color. So I've probably got a whole cup of chopped cilantro, and I'm going to use most of it for this here, and I'm going to save a little bit to go on the cauliflower dish. So boom, stir this up. And this looks muy fantastico. Last time I made this dish, I put ham in it. I've made this dish with quinoa, you know, because this is a vegetarian meal that I have right here. We don't have any meat in this here, but you could put ham in this. You could add quinoa in here, you know, to add protein to it. You know, you could make boom boom, these two dishes, and a little chicken curry or chicken tikka masala if you wanted. But Indian meals are very vegetarian friendly, so because you can make a very complete, flavorful, super filling meal, and you know it'll all be vegetarian. All right, let's see how our mango is doing. I think that might be near the end there.
You can leave the top off, right? If you want some of the liquid off.
Yeah, I think we will do that. That's a good idea, camera girl. BaubleRob, he had his super wet, and I'm going to have a link to BaubleRob's blind mango curry video down below, and you should definitely check that out because he makes great videos over there, not just cooking videos, but it's one of my favorite channels to watch on YouTube. So we'll let this bubble away for a little bit. Let's see, my cauliflower is starting to steam up here. Alrighty. So I think we're dangerously close to being done. I have no idea how long this video is going. Oh, here, I forgot this here. Boom. I was going to throw in some more ginger. Now BaubleRob, he added a little bit of ginger powder to the mango curry. I'm just going to use all fresh ginger because I have a lot of ginger. Now I put some early on to add a lot of ginger flavor, and we cooked that. But this is raw ginger that I'm putting at the end. You know, and this is a lot. 2 tablespoons maybe. Was that a mistake? Maybe. But like I said, you can't make mistakes, you know, when you're cooking. You know, as long as you're using things that you like, what the hell, it's just going to taste like something you like. Now BaubleRob also put some sugar in. He had like a brown sugar. He had something, I forget what it was. But we're not going to add any sugar because we're trying to be a little bit healthy. And I think the mango is going to be sweet enough because I'm not normally a guy that likes sweet entrees. I like sweet desserts. I like very savory foods for dinner. So this is an unusual thing for me to cook. mango as the main part of a meal, but we're definitely going to give this a try and see. But I'm going to let this go for a couple more minutes and then we'll be finished with that. So really the only thing we're waiting on at this point is our cauliflower. And this could be ready right now. You know, because I like raw cauliflower. So I wouldn't even have to cook this anymore if I didn't want to. Now I got a lot of liquid in here, so I'm going to go ahead and let this go uncovered as well.
You're going to add the peas at the very end, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a garnish.
The peas will go in here at the very end because you don't want your peas to fall apart. You know, so it won't take anything for these peas to heat through. So that'll go right in at the very end along with the cilantro. But I'm going to go ahead and get this big ass skillet off of here so that I got a little bit more room and I can evenly cook this last little bit of the dish here. Alrighty. Let me see if this is cooled down enough where I can do a little taste test to see if I want to add anything else in here. I'm very happy with that, so that's good to go. Now let's see with this mango curry, if there's anything else we want to add in here. We'll give this a little taste test. Boom! Oh, look at that, man! Molten lava. I think BaubleRob did mention the lava-ness of this. So I'm going to go ahead and let this sit for a minute before I even begin to taste test this here. Otherwise, I will be regretting it. Alrighty. Boom! Our cauliflower, I think it's there. So I'm going to go ahead and throw some peas in. Like I said, just a small can of peas. We're just going to heat this through. It adds great color. Does it add great texture? I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of peas. I was going to say I hate peas, but obviously I don't hate them because I put them in here. But I don't like a pea dish with a lot of peas. I don't like it where peas is the main thing. This is just an accent, you know, to this dish. You know, with the red of the tomato and the orange of the bell pepper, the green of the peas, you know, it sort of makes the cauliflower a lot less boring.
Are you turning it off like you did the other to add the peas and the cilantro?
Sure. I just turned it off. So there you have it. I got no burners on the stove. For all practical purposes, we are finito. I'm going to go ahead and take what's left of my cilantro and put in here. That's going to add a nice color, a nice freshness to the dealio. I still haven't taste tested my my mango curry to see if there's anything else we should add. Probably not the right spoon. Tastes fantastic. It's very sweet. And the mangoes that we used were so ripe. I mean, they were bordering on last stage mangoes. Boom. Alright, so there you have it. It's all set. It's all done. I think everything looks perfecto. I got some rice here that I cooked up earlier. Man, that's a lot of rice for me. So boom, I got me a big bucket full of mango curry. A little bit of Chana masala, which is always good, a nice Indian staple. And then a little bit of the cauliflower and peas. Throw it on there. A nice big chunk of that. See what you think of the mango curry. But that's a complete Indian dinner. We didn't make any naan because we don't make naan. You know, you could buy some naan or get you some flatbread if you wanted. What'd you just take a bite of? The mango curry? Mm-hmm. What do you think? Mango curry, is it a keeper? I knew you would like it because you like sweet. Now,
I
we
do.
didn't put any sugar in this, but I think it's sweet enough for our taste without it. But I think it was a very good idea, so we got to thank BaubleRob for introducing us to mango curry. Now, Chana Masala, every time we have Indian food, we eat Chana Masala. I mean, that is just...
that is so good.
That is required. Although, if we do another video like this, we probably won't make Chana Masala. Just to do something different. But this is one of our favorite ways to eat cauliflower. I feel like I've been talking all day. You've been awful quiet, camera girl. Alrighty, mango curry. It tastes very desserty to me. I'm not a sweet guy, but this is really tasty. Curry leaves. You know, I probably could have put in a lot more curry leaves. I put in a lot of ginger. I think that was a good idea. But man, you definitely want to have very ripe mangoes. So this will be nice and juicy. Look at me, I'm not even eating the other stuff. I'm just eating this mango curry.
And that's
Super
saying
tasty.
something. Yeah.
So there you have it. You know, you can make an Indian dish in your home. No problem. You know, you just need to make a colossal mess. You know, grab you some key spices and ingredients, and it's going to be no problemo. You're going to love it, and you know, give these recipes a try. Links are down below. Let me know what you think. Bon appetit, and thanks for watching. Alrighty, well, thanks a lot for sticking through this super duper long video. You know, if you've watched it this far, you know, then you probably want to give Indian cooking a try. You know, and I hope that this video, you know, at the very least shows you that it's super simple to do. Don't be intimidated. You know, you can replicate your favorite Indian dishes at home. You know, just get a few key ingredients and boom, cook it up.